For 12 years, this house has been a series of predictable distances. Every room, wall, and corner is mapped perfectly into spatial memory, serving as a reliable anchor to what is real. But at 3 a.m., that map fails. At the end of the corridor sits a dark wood, slightly open door, an object that physically should not exist within these four walls. There are no monsters in the shadows. The threat is purely structural. It is the sudden, absolute violation of the physical laws that govern the protagonist's life. The existence of this door erases the certainty of everything around it. It creates a space where the rules of physics have been discarded, leaving the protagonist with no logical way to navigate their own home. As the door swings open, the temperature drops until breath becomes visible. Beyond the threshold lies a secondary hallway, darker and impossibly long, lined with dozens of identical closed doors. The air is heavy with silence. Then, a soft, deliberate knock echoes from the third door on the left. This is a move out of a singular, linear history and into a space of pure probability. The single line of the protagonist's life has splintered into an expanding tree of potential outcomes. Guided by a morbid intuition, they feel an inexplicable pull toward that third door, as if their own reflection were calling from the other side. This hallway is the physical manifestation of unmade choices. Every door houses a parallel version of the self, sitting in the dark, waiting to be accessed. The third door opens to reveal an exact replica of the protagonist's bedroom, the same bed, cupboard, and window, perfectly preserved in the dark. On the bed, a human figure lies beneath the blanket, motionless and silent. In quantum mechanics, this state is known as superposition. A particle exists in every possible position simultaneously, vibrating between multiple potential states. This is the observer effect. The act of measuring the particle forces the system to collapse into one sharply defined reality. The protagonist reaches out and pulls back the blanket, looking directly into the face of the unbreathing body. By choosing to look, the protagonist acted as the observer. They forced the infinite possibilities of the hallway to collapse into this one specific moment. The body on the bed wakes up, forms a slow, unnatural smile, and speaks, "You came early." The entity explains the trap with cold logic. By opening the door and looking at this version of the self, the protagonist has locked it into place. The environment reacts instantly. The doors of the long hallway swing open, revealing rooms filled with infinite, silent variations of the same person. These are the discarded versions, possibilities that were once hidden, but are now exposed and waiting for a chance to occupy a stable reality. Because the protagonist observed the duplicate, the universe has registered that version as the current reality. The original self is no longer the primary observer. They have become the redundant variable, pushed out of their own timeline by the very thing they witnessed. In a panic, the protagonist flees back through the doorway into the familiar hallway. The impossible door slams shut, seemingly vanishing. They turn on the bedroom lights to find everything as it should be. The bed is empty, the cupboard is closed, and the window is locked. A nervous laugh follows. They begin to convince themselves that the cold air and the hallway were nothing more than a vivid nightmare. This is a psychological defense. The brain naturally tries to reconstruct the illusion of a stable, singular world to avoid acknowledging that the foundations of its reality have shifted. Looking for one last sign of normalcy, the protagonist walks to the mirror. The reflection does not follow their movement. In the glass, the room is dark, and the body remains lying on the bed, eyes closed. Slowly, without ever opening its eyes, the reflection smiles. The duplicate from the hallway is now the one inhabiting the physical world. The original consciousness is left on the other side of the glass, trapped in the space where possibilities go to die. If our identity is defined by what we observe, then who we are is never a permanent fact. It is a temporary state of probability, waiting for the wrong door to open so it can be replaced by another version of itself.